7.5 game lead in the American League West, but I say it's time to put him in now while you got a lead and there's no pressure. Can you imagine adding that power bat to that lineup? And again, to create a player, then you've got to remove a player. And, I always like to, if I give you a solution, I like to give you what was the cause of the problem that we needed a solution. Well, here it is. Here it is. And Doug Boyle's with us. Good to talk to you, Doug. Glad you're with us this afternoon. The problem is Tyler White. Tyler White is not performing. He's hitting .230 on the year. He's 1 for his last 12, okay? And it's time to move on. And you move on with Jordan Alvarez. Putting Alvarez in that lineup, there is not an out. Now, sure, they're going to get out, but you don't have an out. You have to look for it. You have to work hard for it. The pitching staffs that will go against the Astros once Alvarez gets in that lineup, I'm sorry for you. I really am. Because it's not going to be good. It's going to be nightmarish when Alvarez hits that lineup every day. With that 1 through 9, Altuve coming off the IL next week. Another player that I want to proffer to you, who will be up sooner, and I think it could happen where you get a returning player from the IL, Fernando Tatis Jr. next week, and Luis Urias gets the call as well. Now, Urias got a quick call earlier in the year, and he did not perform. He's hitting .355 at AAA. Well, again, whose place is he going to take? Well, what about Ian Kinsler and his .171 average? He didn't even play May 10 through May 12, and when he came back on May 14, he went 0 for 4. So, Kinsler, he was signed to a one-year deal. Cut your losses. Cut your losses now. Get rid of Kinsler, bring Urias up. And, there's an argument, are the Padres a playoff team this year or are they a year away? And I really don't know the answer to that, okay? I don't know the answer. I do know this. Either way, you let Urias play now, and you're playing for now, and you're playing for the future all at once. So, Urias, Alvarez, and one more player I'll throw a pitcher in, and I love this kid. I've been talking about him. I've seen him pitch in person. Dylan Cease, okay? Manny Banuelos suffers an injury this week. Last week they said they weren't going to call him up and they were going to let Covey step into the lineup. Well, now since then, Banuelos has been injured. His spot in the rotation has not come up yet. It should come up this weekend. And I think that Dylan Cease and his 70-rated fastball and his 65-rated curveball is the solution to that roster spot. So he's the number 4 prospect in the White Sox organization. He's the top-ranked pitching prospect in the organization. And I've been corrected. Kinsler signed a 2-year. I thought it was a 1-year, $8 million, but I'll stand corrected. George says it's a 2-year, $8 million. I still say you eat it and let it go. Okay, they just paid Manny Machado 3 truckloads worth of money. I mean, $8 million over 2 years, they can handle that and give this kid a chance. He's not going to get better staying at AAA, Luis Urias. Okay? And Dylan Cease didn't either. He's the number 22 prospect in all of Major League Baseball coming into the season. Certainly that's changed because of all the players that have been called up. The White Sox aren't far off from calling up Dylan Cease. So we talked about the ones that have been called. We've now talked about 3 who are yet to be called. And then there's Willie Calhoun. Willie Calhoun is such a great story. Don't you love his story? I mean, you got to pull for him, right? He comes up, he's a top Dodger farmhand, he's an infielder, he gets traded over to Texas. In the trade, they move him to the outfield. He really thought last season, 2018, he was going to be starting opening day for the Rangers. And they said, not doing that. We're going to send you back down. Yeah, it was sad for Willie Calhoun. But he went back down and he stuck his lower lip out for a little while, played ball. He finally gets the call up yesterday. Yesterday he hits a home run. Today he hits a home run. He was the top-rated prospect last season in Texas organization. Calhoun's got a chip on his shoulder. Okay? Yeah, he does. Willie Calhoun, George, I love it. He does resemble Tony Gwynn. Okay? And if he keeps hitting like he has the last 2 days, he's hitting like Tony Gwynn, but with power. Now, I'm not saying he's Tony Gwynn, okay? But his stance does remind you of it. You're right. You're right. You're right. But he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. He wants to show the Texas Rangers they were wrong. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And right now, yeah, he is. They have been wrong. They should have played him if he continues to perform at this level. Now, will he? No, he won't. But does that mean he can't hit? And I think he's up to stay. Texas is out of it. They're in fourth place, 9 games out. Why not give him a chance and give him an extended chance? I mean, by gosh, Odor's hitting 140 and you don't take him out of the lineup. Let the kid play. So he plays left field. They move Gallo to center. It's worth a shot. They're going to St. Louis to play this week, or St. Louis is coming there to play this weekend. Let's see how it goes. Give him a flyer if he's available in your league. I added him in the league. Why not add him? Now let's also talk about some players who aren't rookies, shall we? Who may be available or may just be playing great. Just because I say their name during this segment doesn't mean that you can go add them on the off the waiver wire. Okay, and you're right, George. San Diego's only 5 games out in the West. You got Kinsler hitting 171, not doing much at all. In fact, nothing of late. Take him out. Put the kid in, Urias. Let's see how he does. You're only 5 out. What if you get hot? That division could still be won this year. How about Anthony Rendon? 3 for 4 yesterday with 2 doubles. 5 hits in his last 2 games. Now, Washington wins again today. And looking at Rendon today and his stats, of course I told you Parra was just a one-man wrecking crew. But Rendon did go 1 for 5 with an RBI. But Rendon has been really hot of late. I really like Rendon. He's a must-start for me. He's got such a high hit percentage, a hard contact percentage, Love Anthony Rendon. How about Steve Cishek for the Cubs? He has become the, by default, de facto closer in Chicago. And I told you earlier, the Cubs are the team in first place with a 1.5 game lead. So Cishek is going to get opportunities. Opportunity. And I tell you, that's what fantasy baseball is all about. If you're not given the opportunity, you can't put up the numbers. If you don't put up the numbers, you can't be a fantasy star. So let's see how Cishek does with the Cubs now that he's been given this opportunity. Another player that's really performing well, Kyle Gibson for the Twins. And just before I do that, George says he dropped Parra in his expert NL league. Bad move on his part. I kind of agree. But who knows? We look at this stuff Monday morning quarterbacking. And Douglas Boyle just says the White Sox signed veteran Ross Detweiler to try in the Banuelos spot. He may come and fail prior to Cease. I think you're probably right. But I still think Cease, and talk to me, Doug, I think Cease is not very far away at all. And that's why I put him in my number 3 segment, and I put him 3rd on that list. I think that Alvarez and Urias both get called up before Cease, but I don't think Cease is very far away. That's just my opinion, okay? And you're right, he can't be worse than Banuelos. I got an idea. I can't be worse than Banuelos. Well, maybe, but not much, right? And I got a bad right shoulder, but my left shoulder's pretty good. So, there you go. But Kyle Gibson's right shoulder is really good. He's 4-1 with 21 strikeouts over his last 3 starts. And Sunday, he is in Seattle. Wasn't there a movie like that? Something? Sunday in Seattle? No, Sleepless in Seattle? Okay, anyway. Kyle Gibson's going to pitch Sunday in Seattle against the Mariners. I like that spot for Kyle Gibson. Yeah, I agree. George, Chris Owings is better than Banuelos. And he's not even a pitcher. Anyway, but I like Kyle Gibson Sunday in that start. I really like him a lot. He's throwing the ball. He's throwing a heavy sinker in the mid-90s with his fastball. And more good news for the Twins. Miguel Sano gets activated this week. And now Sano looks svelte. He looks like he's in shape. And if you remember a few years ago when Miguel Sano came up as a rookie, he had like 300. He's got tremendous power, off the chart power. And so I'm really expecting great things for Sano. But as one comes, one must go away. And I think Marwin Gonzalez's playing time is getting ready to dwindle. I've got Gonzalez in a league. I think probably he's my next cut. But I want to see how they handle Sano first. Oh, come on. You'd rather start Bob Gibson? The guy's like 95 years old. I'm looking at the chat room. I want to start Kyle Gibson over Bob Gibson. Kyle's been good lately. Now, I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. Come on. But Kyle Gibson's been good lately. You got to admit. But Sano, we'll see how he's going to be. And then there's Nomar Mazara. Now, I told you the Texas Rangers went off today. I did not mention Mazara's name. But coming into today's game, over his last 3, he was 8 for 14 with a 571 average. I love me some Nomar Mazara. And I really like all those Texas hitters. Now, I don't know what Texas is going to do this year. Probably nothing. They don't have any pitching. I got it. But they got plenty of hitting. And in that ballpark, and if you're a fantasy player like I am and like you are, don't you just love Texas's batters and the options you got there? Okay? Doug says Kyle Gibson is a poor man's Rick Porcello. He may be, but I know he's 4-1 with 21 Ks over his last 3 starts. So, if you're looking to add someone, now if I got Chris Sale, no, I'm not going to drop him for Chris Sale. That's crazy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you need a pitcher, look at Gibson. And Sunday in Seattle against the Mariners, I'll take that all day long. Talking about the Twins, one more player. We've talked about Kyle Gibson ad nauseum. We've talked about Miguel Sano. Let's talk about Byron Buxton, okay? Are you a Buxton fan? I love Byron Buxton. And what he's been doing lately, whether you've noticed it or not, but he's got a 5-game hitting streak, and over that span, he's 8 for 17, translated, 471 average. He's got 18 doubles this year. You heard me right. 18 doubles already this year. 16 RBIs. 8 stolen bases. He's hitting 278. And I think it's going to get better, not worse. I love Byron Buxton right now. I'm having this man crush with Byron Buxton right now. Okay, it's getting really good over here to me. So if you can get Byron Buxton on the cheap in a trade, get him! Get him now. I love Byron Buxton. Some more players that are just really doing great. How about Tommy La Stella? Tommy La Stella. Kind of got a mafia name, right? La Stella, right? 301 average, 11 homers, 25 RBIs in his last 3 games. A 600 average. That's right, 600 average. He's 9 for his last 15 with 2 home runs. And he may be from your neck of the woods, George, but whatever he drinks, you need to drink it because he's a hitting somebody. I love me some Tommy La Stella. Logan Forsythe for Texas. How about the last 3 games he's played since their shortstop went on the IL? Elvis Andrus goes on the IL, and the Rangers say we're going to let Logan Forsythe fill in at shortstop. Ho-hum, right? Ho-hum. Well, he's hitting .316 on the year. 3 home runs before today, 18 RBIs. Of course, today he went 2 for 5. The 3 games prior to that, 2 for 3, 3 for 4, 2 for 4. What I'm getting at is he's had 16 at-bats over the last 4 games, 9 hits. My math's not great all the time, but I'm going to say that's like a 571 batting average. Not bad, not shabby. Will he hit 571? Of course not. But can he hit? Yes. And has he got a short-term opportunity? Yes. And if you're looking at a middle infielder who can play more than one position, he can play corner, he can play middle, he's an infielder, he just can't play shortstop, but every other position on the infield he's probably eligible for. Logan Forsythe is a steal right now. And another player who is Cleveland's very own Luplow. Who is Luplow? Well, if you didn't know about him before now, you know about him now. 280 average, 4 home runs, 6 RBIs. Yesterday went 2 for 5 with 2 home runs. Cleveland's trying to find an outfielder that can hit, and maybe Luplow is their man. He hit cleanup yesterday. Is he worth a flyer? Depends what kind of league you're in, but I'm just tendering to you. He's doing very well lately. A couple of pitchers. We've already mentioned Domingo Germán, so I'll leave that alone other than to tell you he does lead the American League with 8 wins. He does have a .250 ERA, and he does have a 0.95 whip, and I love all 3 of those numbers. But a pitcher I love even more than that. My Soroka! One more time. My Soroka! Mike Soroka, 4-1.